Good evening, Greg.
G'day, Greg. Thanks for having us.
No worries. Now, I do have BB's mic turned on, but, he's a bashful sort of guy. Say hello, BB.
You're really tensing me, aren't you? Hello, BB.
That's better.
There you go.
Okay. Just want to prove you are here.
And I'm silly.
Yeah. Neal runs Holy Fools, and he's been supporting Tim Heenan in a 10-day and 10-night sleep out in the rough in Lilydale to raise awareness for homelessness and the issues around that. And Tim finished his sleep out on Sunday, and he's looking remarkably well and washed after the event.
He's looking quite dapper.
He is, yeah. He's got this sort of Doctor Who-ish hat on, but no scarf.
Yeah.
And
I had my scarf.
you had, yeah.
Put it
What
down
did you
for me.
eat it or something?
Show this.
Right. So, Tim, 10 days this year, 31 days the year before, 30 days the year before that.
94 nights, Greg,
Yeah.
in a cardboard box over 5 years.
And no one put return to sender on the box?
No, the box needed to go back into the recycling bin. Unfortunately, it was half soaked by the time we finished. I don't know why, but it was. But, the point of the exercise is no different to previous years, to raise awareness. And I'll say at the outset that the previous 4 times I've done this did not compare to what opened my eyes this time.
Well, the weather was pretty extreme, especially at the start this year, wasn't it?
Out of the 10 days, there were 3 days in the minus, one 3.7, one 2.1. There were another 3 days where overnight it got down to less than 2 degrees.
Yeah.
And the other 4 days were between 3 degrees and 6 degrees overnight. I've checked back and had a look. So, yeah, extreme temperatures, extreme conditions. Not a bed of roses, but, 10 nights is nothing compared to 365 nights in a year that a homeless person would do.
So do you always sleep in a box at this time of the year?
Yeah. Look, when I first did it, when I first did it, I did it in October, and that was stupid. If we were to make a point of how a disaster it was for a homeless person to go through the extremes of winter, you don't make that point in the middle of October. You make it in winter or right at the onset. So we brought it back. Neal and I spoke, and we thought that we would make more of an impact to do it coinciding with Homeless Week in August.
Homeless Persons Week.
Yes.
Yeah, so nearly 100 nights so far in total over, 5 years?
Yes.
5 different stints?
Yeah.
Just for people that are listening, Tim sleeps in a box every year for at least 10 days, so usually 30 days in the past.
It has been the last couple of years,
and
yes.
just to raise awareness about homelessness, and it's quite an amazing feat. And I've seen the box now in person, and it would be very difficult I'm astounded at what he's done. Yeah, it's incredible. So congratulations, Tim.
Yeah, thank you. It'll only receive the accolades that it deserves if it raises the awareness that it deserves.
Absolutely.
So I'm happy to take the accolades. I'm happy, as I said to Neal and Debbie McLeod, another fine member of Holy Fools yesterday, the only thing I can say to you is it's been an honour to serve you the last 10 days and help them. So it's great to get the accolades, but you want to get the awareness, particularly for a group like Holy Fools.
Well, we've just welcomed the fact that Tim, we've supported Tim because he's saying the same thing we've been trying to say, that there is such a vast issue of a problem of homelessness in the Shire. So it's good to have him as a focal point this year and in previous years, but this year especially.
Yes. Now, Tim, you're not working for any organisation doing this, are you? You're doing it as a private citizen.
No. Look, the company that I'm very proud to be a member of, Lapine Funerals, in Croydon, does a community meal with St John the Divine Church on the corner of Toorak Road and Wicklow Avenue in Croydon every 4th Monday. I help at that community meal because I want to. I enjoy being one of the team there, but that's my only other part of the organisation.
I know when you were doing it, quite a few people were saying things like, who do we give money to? What's this raising money for? But it wasn't really about that, really, was it?
No, it wasn't. Look, in cases where I was pressed, I said, well, if you'd like to make a donation to Holy Fools, they've got all of the relevant legal deductible status. Go on their website, have a look, and yes, please contribute what you can. But keep in mind, the main reason we're doing this is to raise awareness to the work that obviously Holy Fools are doing, to the understanding that we need to really see with open eyes what's going on before our very eyes.
Now, Neal, we've been talking about Holy Fools, which you head up. It's not a big ticket organisation like the Salvos or anything, is it? How did it start, and what does it involve itself in?
It started. We've been going for 5 years, basically. Started off just as an organisation to sort of recover some insurance while I was doing a lot of chaplaincy work for between some of the community meals in Croydon.
Yeah,
and it's evolved through necessity into it's now a registered charity with DGR status. So the same as all the big guys, and but it runs on the smell of an oily rag
without the oil.
Without the oil, usually, yeah. And it's all volunteer based. There's no one employed. Everyone is a volunteer, from myself down through to the people who help us down through the meals. So there's definitely a need for us to grow, and we're sort of working on raising funds to do that. But at the moment, it's all volunteers, and it's managing grassroots levels to do what we can to help the people that we know that are out there that are needing help.
Yes. Now, you're based in Lilydale doing this, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
So I know you sort of do things in various spots in Lilydale. Do you want to outline what that is?
Yep. We run actually, I think Holy Fools have been going longer than 5 years now that I think about it. But anyway, we run a community meal called Matt's Cafe that has been going for definitely 5 years, and that has run every second Friday, and we currently run that out of the Chapel restaurant, or the Chapel in Castella Street, every second Friday night. So the next one's not this coming Friday, but the next week, and that is a meal that's open to anyone, a 2-course meal with nutritious food. We invite anyone to turn up, and we often have anywhere between 60 to 80 people turning up for that. A lot of families turning up for that.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's good. It's good just to, we get to try and get to know everyone. And we don't say that we're actually serving a meal or that we're feeding people. We say we share a meal with people. So we try and engage everyone as when they come in and to spend time with them. The second thing we do is a barbecue every week in Melba Park down in Lilydale, and that is just rolling out the barbecue and then trying to just use the food as a sort of a way of gathering a group of people. And we gather anywhere from 20 to 30 people pretty much every week.
Yeah.
And that ranges from guys who are actually homeless through to just a number of people who are hanging around through the park who, whether they're just down there drinking or otherwise hanging around. And we get to go and engage those people and try and, again, just use the food as a lubricant just to get to know them, to see what's going on with their lives. We often have someone from Anchor coming down just to see if there's anything they can do. And each has also sent a representative down just to see if there's anything they can do for the guys. So we've been going since February on that, and that's phenomenal. We just are engaging lots of guys, been able to help a number of guys that have turned up and just been unaware of some of the things they can benefit from or the agencies they can actually plug into, and just been able to help them in that regard.
So Anchor's are homeless?
Anchor's what is the Shire's front door agency, which is the federal system for registering if you're homeless, so they can help provide housing for you.
Okay.
But it's so inundated that there's a lack of housing. So they had over 900 youth apply last year for services, and there's definitely a shortage of that. To give you an idea, there's no crisis accommodation in the Shire of Yarra Ranges at all. So if you do turn up and want to help, they've only got a limited number of funds to be able to house you. So if it's first come, first served, usually mums and kids who get priority. and they might get put up in a motel for a couple of nights until something else can be found, or they might end up back on in the situation or some other situation. Often it's times where people will prefer the street because it's safer than the boarding houses around. And we had that experience this week with one of the guys. But there's it's not a good situation. But again, there's the lack of crisis accommodation just means there's nowhere to go. And there's also bottlenecks within the system as far as once you've moved into sort of temporary housing, where do you go on from there? Because people can't move from temporary housing into permanent housing because there's a lack of permanent housing. So,
because I guess once you're on the Office of Housing waiting list, if you've got a dwelling, then it's difficult to get more sort of permanent housing. Or
No, we try and encourage people, if they can, register for Office of Housing to do so, because it means they're more than likely going to get a house based on their health situation.
Okay. I meant the emergency priority list.
No, it's very difficult to get onto that. To give you an idea, there is a government-run crisis accommodation in Croydon that has 10 single beds and 2 family units, and there's a huge waiting list to get into there. But that's an intensive time when they work with you to house you and get you employed and things like that. But to get into there's a big waiting list.